Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. Captain Sarah Chin stared at the blinking anomaly on her monitor, her cybernetic eye implant automatically zooming in on the strange energy signature. After 15 years in military intelligence, she thought she'd seen every type of spacecraft signature possible. This one was different. She leaned back in her chair at Starbase Epsilon's administrative office, maintaining her cover as a simple civilian station coordinator. The position gave her perfect oversight of all incoming and outgoing traffic, though today's visitor was proving to be anything but routine. "Station control to incoming vessel," she broadcast, keeping her voice professional. "Please identify yourself and state your purpose." The response came in fragments, crackling with interference. "Merchant vessel. Starweaver, requesting emergency docking, systems malfunction." Sarah's augmented senses detected something odd in the transmission, subsonic frequencies that shouldn't be there. Her military-grade neural implants tried to process the anomaly but came up blank. "Acknowledged, Starweaver. Proceed to emergency dock 7. Medical teams are standing by." The ship that limped into view through the observation window was unlike anything in her extensive database. Its hull seemed to shimmer with an inner light, organic curves blending seamlessly with crystalline structures. As it passed beneath the station's external lights, the entire vessel pulsed briefly with bioluminescence. Sarah's implants went haywire. For a split second, her cybernetic systems resonated with something emanating from the ship. The sensation was intimate, almost like a caress across her neural pathways. She shook her head, forcing herself to focus. This was exactly the kind of anomaly she was stationed here to investigate. "Fascinating design," commented Jerry, her civilian colleague, peering through the window. "Never seen anything quite like it." "Let's hope our repair crews are up to the challenge," Sarah replied neutrally, already planning how to get a closer look without breaking cover. The ship's lone occupant emerged an hour later. Sarah watched through security feeds as the alien merchant made his way through decontamination. He and her implants somehow knew it was he stood nearly 7 feet tall, with iridescent skin that rippled with subtle patterns of light. His movements were graceful despite his size, and there was something almost hypnotic about the way the lights played across his surface. "I am Zaxxer," he introduced himself at the customs desk, his voice carrying harmonics that made Sarah's cybernetics tingle. "A simple merchant seeking repairs and perhaps some trade." Simple merchant. Right. Sarah's military training screamed that nothing about this situation was simple. The energy readings from his ship were off the charts, and the way her enhanced systems reacted to his presence suggested technology far beyond current human understanding. She decided to handle this personally. "Welcome to Starbase Epsilon," she greeted him, extending her hand. "I'm Sarah Chen, Station Administrator. I'd be happy to help coordinate any repairs you need." The moment their hands touched, Sarah's world exploded with sensation. Her cybernetic systems surged with energy, creating feedback loops of pleasure and awareness she'd never experienced. Zaxxer's skin flared with brilliant patterns of light, and their eyes met in shared shock. He knew. And he knew that she knew. "Most unexpected," he murmured, his bioluminescent patterns shifting to something more complex. "I didn't think humans had progressed to this level of neural enhancement. And I didn't think merchant vessels carried quantum resonance drives," she countered quietly, keeping her professional smile in place for any observers. They stood there, hands still clasped, engaged in a silent battle of wills. Sarah's implants were processing more data than she'd ever encountered, suggesting capabilities that shouldn't exist in known space. Zaxxer's skin continued to pulse with patterns that seemed to speak directly to her enhanced nervous system. "Perhaps," he finally said, breaking the tension, "we should discuss this somewhere more private." Sarah nodded, already calculating risks and possibilities. "My office. 1 hour. We'll need to talk about your repair requirements." As she watched him walk away, his tall form drawing curious stares from station personnel, Sarah fought to control her racing thoughts. Her mission was to monitor for unusual technological developments that could affect Earth's security. This definitely qualified. What she couldn't explain was the lingering warmth in her augmented systems, or the way her cybernetic eye kept tracking the beautiful patterns flowing across his skin. This was more than a simple security investigation now. The game was changing, and Sarah Chen found herself looking forward to their next encounter in ways that had nothing to do with her mission parameters. She touched her neural implant, composing a carefully worded message to her handlers. They needed to know about the technological implications of this contact, but something made her hesitate to reveal everything. The way her systems had resonated with Zaxxer's biology felt too personal, too intimate to share. For the first time in her career, Sarah decided to hold back certain details. She would investigate this her way, following not just her training but also the strange new sensations awakening in her enhanced systems. 1 hour. She had 1 hour to prepare for a conversation that could change everything for her, for humanity, and for whatever secrets Zaxxer carried beneath his luminescent skin. Sarah smiled, feeling her cybernetics hum with anticipation. This was going to be interesting. Sarah's office hummed with hidden surveillance countermeasures as she waited for Zaxxer. She'd disabled most of the standard monitoring systems. This conversation needed to stay private. Her cybernetic implants registered his approach before the door chime sounded, picking up that strange resonance that seemed to dance along her neural pathways. "Enter," she called, standing to greet him. Zaxxer ducked through the doorway, his tall frame making her office feel suddenly smaller. In the controlled lighting, his skin rippled with subtle patterns that her enhanced vision found mesmerizing. She noticed he'd changed into what appeared to be more formal attire, a flowing garment that seemed to amplify his natural bioluminescence. "Your security measures are impressive," he commented, glancing around. "Though perhaps unnecessary. I've already disabled any monitoring devices within 50 meters. Sarah raised an eyebrow. "That's quite a feat, more evidence you're not just a simple merchant. Just as you're not just a station administrator." His lips curved in what might have been a smile. "Your neural enhancements are military grade. Experimental, if I'm not mistaken. Far beyond what humans publicly acknowledge possessing." They studied each other for a long moment, each weighing how much to reveal. Sarah's implants continued processing data from his presence, suggesting capabilities that shouldn't exist in known space. "Let's be direct," she finally said. "Your ship's energy signature doesn't match any known configuration. Your biology is interfacing with my systems in ways that should be impossible." "Who are you really, Zaxxer?" He moved closer, and Sarah felt her cybernetics respond, creating cascading waves of sensation through her enhanced nervous system. "Who I am is less important than what I carry. Knowledge, Sarah Chen. Technology that could revolutionize human-alien relations, or destroy them." "You're running from something." "Someone," he corrected. "Several someones, actually. Your corporate entities have become quite aggressive in their pursuit of advanced technology." Sarah's tactical systems highlighted subtle signs of stress in his movements. "Genesis Corp? Or Stellar Dynamics?" "Both. Along with others you haven't heard of yet." His skin darkened slightly. "They learned of my people's ability to interface directly with technology through biological means. Our natural bioluminescence isn't just for show, it's a form of communication, computation, and control all in one." "That explains the resonance with my implants," Sarah mused. "We're both operating on similar principles, just through different methods." "Exactly." Zaxxer's patterns shifted to something more complex. "Your enhancements are a crude, forgive me, but accurate attempt to replicate what my species does naturally. The fact that they work at all is remarkable. The fact that they can interface with my biology is impossible?" Sarah suggested. "Fascinating," he corrected, moving closer still. "And potentially valuable. The corporations hunting me would be very interested in someone like you." Sarah's combat protocols activated automatically at the perceived threat, but something in his tone made her hold back. Her enhanced senses detected no aggression, only interest? Concern? I'm not for sale, she stated firmly. No, he agreed, his skin pulsing with what she was beginning to recognize as amusement. You most certainly are not. Which is precisely why I need your help. Before she could respond, her security systems pinged. Multiple unauthorized entries at the station's secondary docks. Her tactical display lit up with threat assessments. They're here already, Zaxxer said grimly, his skin dimming to nearly black. Faster than I anticipated. Sarah was already moving, accessing station security feeds through her neural interface. 6 teams of armed individuals, using corporate security IDs that her systems flagged as suspicious. They were moving with military precision toward the merchant sector. How did they track you? They didn't, he replied, patterns shifting rapidly across his skin. They tracked you. Or more specifically, the energy signature created when our systems interfaced. It was like a beacon to anyone looking for this kind of technology. Sarah cursed under her breath. She'd been so fascinated by their connection that she'd missed the security implications. We need to move. My cover here is blown anyway. You'd help me? Zaxxer seemed genuinely surprised. Even knowing it could compromise your mission? My mission is to protect Earth's interests, she replied, activating her combat enhancements. Strength and reflex boosters came online, flooding her system with power. If these corporations get hold of your biological technology, they'll weaponize it. I've seen it happen before. There's something else you should know, he said as she checked her concealed sidearm. The resonance between us, it's not just technological. My species, we form bonds through our bioluminescent frequencies. What happened when we touched? Let me guess, Sarah interrupted, allowing herself a small smile. In your culture, we're practically married now? Nothing quite so dramatic, he chuckled, his skin brightening. But the connection is significant. It would be difficult to break. We can discuss the implications of our accidental quantum engagement later, she said, moving to the door. Right now, we need to get to your ship. Can you get it running? With help. His patterns shifted to something more serious. Your neural enhancements could provide the boost I need to bypass the damaged systems. But it would require deepening our connection. The experience would be intense. Sarah's implants thrummed with anticipation at the idea. More intense than when we shook hands? Because that was already quite something. Much more. His skin rippled with patterns that made her cybernetics tingle. Are you sure you want to risk it? The sound of boots in the corridor made the decision for them. Sarah grabbed his hand, gasping at the immediate surge of sensation. No choice now. We're in this together. As they moved out into the chaos of the station, Sarah felt her world expanding. Her cybernetic systems synchronized with Zaxxer's biological frequencies, creating something entirely new. They weren't just 2 individuals fleeing danger, they were becoming something more, something that neither human technology nor alien biology had ever achieved alone. And somewhere in the back of her mind, past the tactical calculations and combat protocols, Sarachin wondered if she was experiencing not just a technological breakthrough, but something her enhanced systems had never been programmed to handle, an impossible romance that transcended species, technology, and the very boundaries of known science. The corporation's forces were about to learn just how dangerous such a combination could be. The station's maintenance corridors became a blur as Sarah and Zaxxer moved with synchronized precision. Their joined hands created a constant flow of energy between them, her cybernetic enhancements merging seamlessly with his natural abilities. Through their connection, Sarah could sense the pursuing corporate teams, their electronic signatures lighting up her enhanced awareness like beacons. Left here, she whispered, pulling Zaxxer into a narrow service shaft. Their heightened connection let them communicate with minimal words, his bioluminescent patterns responding to her thoughts almost before she formed them. Your adaptation to this connection is remarkable, Zaxxer observed, his skin pulsing with what she now recognized as admiration. Most humans would be overwhelmed by the neural feedback. Most humans don't have military-grade quantum processors in their brains, she replied with a small smile. Though I'll admit, this is pushing their limits in ways my handlers never anticipated. The sound of boots on metal grating echoed through the corridors. Sarah's tactical display highlighted multiple threats converging on their position. Through their link, she felt Zaxxer's concern spike, his skin dimming to deep indigo. They're using quantum scanners, he warned. My biological signature is too distinct to hide completely. Sarah processed this information through her enhanced systems, an idea forming. Then let's use that to our advantage. Can you project your energy signature to multiple locations? His patterns shifted to something she interpreted as intrigue. With enough power, yes. But it would require an even deeper connection, she finished, already feeling her implants humming with anticipation. I can route additional power from my combat systems. Sarah. His voice grew serious, patterns swirling with concern. That level of integration, it would create a permanent bond. The physiological and technological implications would be fascinating to study later, she interrupted, hearing their pursuers getting closer. Right now, we need options. His skin rippled with what might have been laughter. You are either the bravest or most reckless human I've ever encountered. I get that a lot. Ready? Instead of answering, Zaxxer pulled her closer, pressing his forehead to hers. The contact sent shockwaves through Sarah's enhanced nervous system. Her cybernetics lit up like a supernova, neural pathways expanding and connecting in ways they were never designed for. Through their merged consciousness, she felt his natural abilities integrating with her artificial enhancements, creating something entirely new. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. Sarah gasped as her awareness expanded exponentially. She could feel every electronic system in the station, could see the complex patterns of energy flowing through its infrastructure. More importantly, she could sense Zaxxer's presence not as separate but as an extension of herself, their combined abilities creating a symphony of biological and technological harmony. This is... She breathed, struggling to process the flood of sensations. Beautiful, he finished, his skin blazing with patterns that matched the rhythm of her heart. And terrifying. They moved as one, their enhanced abilities allowing them to project false energy signatures throughout the station. Sarah's military training merged with Zaxxer's natural talents, creating deceptions that confused even the advanced corporate scanning equipment. Through their deepened connection, Sarah began to understand more about her alien companion. She saw flashes of his past, a civilization that had evolved to commune with technology through biological means, the corporate interests that sought to weaponize their abilities, his desperate flight across the galaxy. Your people, she sent through their link, the thought carrying waves of sympathy. They're hiding from this? Scattered across the stars, he confirmed, images of distant worlds flowing between them. Protecting our secrets, our way of life. Until now, I never thought sharing them might be the answer. A burst of weapons fire interrupted their moment of connection. Sarah's combat protocols activated automatically, her enhanced reflexes pulling them both to safety as energy bolts scorched the wall behind them. Speaking of sharing, she thought at him, her tactical systems highlighting escape routes, feel like showing me what else this connection can do? His answering surge of excitement flowed through their bond. Together, they reached out to the station's systems, their combined abilities allowing unprecedented control. Security doors slammed shut, trapping their pursuers. Environmental controls responded to their commands, creating corridors of darkness where Zaxxer's bioluminescence gave them the advantage. They moved through the station like ghosts, their merged consciousness anticipating threats before they materialized. Sarah's military training, enhanced by Zaxxer's natural abilities, made them nearly unstoppable. When corporate forces did manage to engage, they found themselves facing an opponent that combined the best of human and alien capabilities. Your ship, Sarah sent through their link as they approached the docking bay. Can we get it running with our combined abilities? Better. His excitement rippled through their connection. We can make it sing. The Starweaver waited for them, its crystalline hull pulsing in response to their presence. Through their merged consciousness, Sarah understood that the ship wasn't just a vessel, it was a living thing, designed to respond to its pilot's bioluminescent frequencies. As they approached, Sarah felt her cybernetics synchronizing with the ship's systems, creating a three-way connection that took her breath away. The vessel's organic technology recognized their unique fusion of abilities, responding with enthusiasm to their combined presence. "It's accepting both of us," Zaxxer marveled, his patterns shifting with joy. "This has never happened before." "Lots of things happening that have never happened before," Sarah replied, feeling the ship's systems integrating with her enhanced awareness. "Starting to think impossible is just another word for untried." The moment was interrupted by alarms. Corporate forces had breached the final security barrier. They had minutes at most. "Time to go?" Sarah asked, though their connection made the question almost redundant. "Time to show you what real space travel feels like," Zaxxer replied, his skin blazing with patterns that made her cybernetics sing. As they rushed into the ship, their merged consciousness already preparing for launch, Sarah realized something profound. In trying to protect Earth's interests, she'd stumbled onto something far more valuable, a partnership that could bridge the gap between human and alien technology in ways previously unimaginable. And if the way her enhanced systems hummed in harmony with Zaxxer's natural frequencies was any indication, she'd found something else too, a connection that transcended both biology and technology. The corporate forces were about to learn just how formidable such a connection could be. The Starweaver came alive around them, responding to their merged consciousness with eager enthusiasm. Sarah had piloted advanced spacecraft before, but this was entirely different. Through their connection, she felt every system as if it were part of her own enhanced nervous system. The ship's crystalline interfaces pulsed with patterns that matched Zaxxer's bioluminescence, creating a symphony of light and energy. "They're powering up electromagnetic containment fields," Sarah warned, her cybernetics detecting the buildup of energy. "Trying to trap us in dock." "Let them try." Zaxxer's confidence flowed through their bond as his hands danced across the ship's organic controls. "Ready to show them what we can do together?" Sarah's answer came through their connection as pure emotion, excitement, determination, and something deeper that made his skin flash with brilliant patterns. Their merged consciousness spread through the ship's systems, combining his natural abilities with her military training and enhanced reflexes. The Starweaver responded instantly, its engines humming to life with a sound that resonated through Sarah's cybernetic implants. The corporate forces had expected to trap a damaged vessel, piloted by a single fugitive. Instead, they faced something unprecedented, a perfect fusion of human and alien technology, guided by two minds operating as one. "First wave incoming," Sarah announced, her tactical systems highlighting multiple threats. "Combat drones." Through their connection, she felt Zaxxer's grim amusement. "Watch this." The ship's crystalline hull pulsed with energy patterns that matched his skin. Sarah's cybernetics interpreted the data, allowing her to understand and enhance the effect. Together, they created interference patterns that confused the drone's targeting systems. The automated attackers crashed into each other, creating a brief fireworks display in the docking bay. "Impressive," Sarah acknowledged, even as her enhanced awareness detected more serious threats approaching. But here come the heavy hitters. Corporate battleships emerged from behind the station, their weapons already charging. These weren't the simple security forces they'd evaded earlier, these were military-grade vessels, likely piloted by enhanced humans not unlike Sarah herself. "They're not trying to capture us anymore," Zaxxer observed, his patterns shifting to deep crimson. "They mean to destroy us and salvage what's left." "Not happening." Sarah's determination flowed through their bond as she integrated more deeply with the ship's systems. "Your people aren't the only ones with secrets worth protecting." Together, they pushed the Starweaver to its limits. The ship responded like a living thing, its organic technology adapting to their combined abilities in ways that defied conventional physics. They wove through the barrage of weapons fire, the vessel's hull flickering with protective patterns that Sarah's cybernetics somehow knew how to enhance. Through their connection, combat became a dance. Sarah's military training guided their tactical decisions, while Zaxxer's natural abilities allowed them to execute maneuvers that should have been impossible. The Starweaver moved like liquid light, leaving confused corporate pilots in their wake. They're coordinating their attack pattern, Sarah noted, her enhanced systems detecting the subtle shifts in enemy formation. Trying to hold us in the system's gravity well. Then let's show them something they've never seen before. Zaxxer's excitement pulsed through their bond. Your enhancements, they can handle quantum displacement? Theoretically. Sarah felt his plan forming in their shared consciousness. You're not seriously suggesting a quantum leap powered by both biological and technological processes? His skin rippled with what she now recognized as mischief. Unless you have a better idea? Sarah's tactical systems calculated the risks, while her emotional response, transmitted clearly through their connection, was one of exhilarated anticipation. Never been done before. Story of our lives lately, he replied, his patterns shifting to match her excitement. They moved in perfect synchronization, their merged consciousness preparing the ship for something never attempted in known space. Sarah's cybernetic systems interfaced with the ship's quantum core, while Zaxxer's natural abilities created the biological framework needed to stabilize the reaction. The corporate vessels, sensing something unprecedented, increased their attack. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes filled space around them, creating a deadly light show that reflected off the Starweaver's crystalline hull. Ready? Sarah asked, though the question was largely rhetorical, given their connection. With you? Always. Their combined consciousness reached out, merging human technology, alien biology, and the ship's organic systems into something entirely new. The Starweaver's hull blazed with patterns that matched both Zaxxer's bioluminescence and the digital readouts from Sarah's enhanced vision. Space itself seemed to hesitate. Then, in a burst of light that temporarily blinded every sensor in the system, they made the jump. Reality twisted around them as quantum physics met biological processes in ways that defied conventional understanding. Sarah felt her cybernetics struggling to process the experience, while Zaxxer's natural abilities helped stabilize their shared consciousness through the transition. When they emerged, the corporate vessels were far behind, their quarry having performed a feat they couldn't hope to replicate. The nearest star looked different, they'd crossed light years and moments through a method that combined the best of both their species' capabilities. We did it, Sarah breathed, her enhanced senses still tingling from the experience. That was revolutionary, Zaxxer finished, his skin pulsing with joy and something more intimate. Like us. Through their connection, Sarah felt the truth of those words. They had created something unprecedented, not just in their escape, but in themselves. Their bond had evolved beyond mere technological or biological compatibility into something neither of their species had imagined possible. As the Starweaver glided through unfamiliar space, its systems humming in harmony with their merged consciousness, Sarah realized she had a choice to make. Her mission, her duty, everything she'd trained for, it all seemed small compared to the possibilities their connection represented. They'll keep hunting us, she sent through their bond, though she'd already made her decision. Yes, he agreed, his patterns shifting to include her in ways that transcended words. But they'll be hunting us together. The ship's crystalline hull pulsed with patterns that matched both their frequencies, biological and technological, alien and human, separate yet perfectly merged. As they plotted a course into unknown space, Sarah felt her cybernetic systems adapting, evolving, becoming something more than their creators had ever intended. Just like her heart. 3 months after their quantum leap to freedom, Sarah stood at the Starweaver's observation deck, watching alien stars paint patterns across the crystalline hull. Her cybernetic systems had evolved dramatically during their journey, adapting to match Zaxxer's natural frequencies in ways that continued to surprise them both. Deep thoughts? Zaxxer's voice carried through their connection before he physically entered the room, his skin shimmering with concerned affection. Just processing, she replied, both verbally and through their bond. The latest scan results are interesting. They'd spent their time evading corporate pursuit while studying the unprecedented fusion of their abilities. The Starweaver had become both their home and their laboratory, its organic systems adapting to support their deepening connection. Interesting is an understatement. Zaxxer moved beside her, his tall frame reflecting in the transparent hull. Your cybernetic enhancements aren't just adapting anymore, they're evolving. Creating new neural pathways that mirror my species' natural abilities. Sarah nodded, watching as her enhanced vision created patterns that matched his bioluminescence. And your biological systems are incorporating elements of my technological augmentations. We're becoming something entirely new. Their shared consciousness flowed between them, carrying emotions and thoughts that transcended verbal communication. Through their bond, Sarah felt his excitement, his concern, and the deep affection that had grown between them. The corporations couldn't have imagined this, she continued, turning to face him. They wanted weapons, ways to control and exploit your people's abilities. Instead, we've discovered true synthesis, he finished, his patterns shifting to colors that made her cybernetics hum with joy. Voluntary evolution through connection rather than control. A warning flashed through their merged awareness, long-range sensors detecting multiple ships entering the system. Sarah's tactical systems engaged automatically, but the signatures weren't corporate vessels. Your people, she breathed, feeling Zaxxer's recognition through their bond. They felt our connection? They've been watching, waiting. His skin pulsed with complex patterns that reflected his mixed emotions. Our bond, it's proof that sharing our abilities doesn't have to mean losing them. That connection can lead to growth rather than exploitation. The approaching ships were beautiful, their crystalline hulls displaying bioluminescent patterns similar to the Starweavers. Through their connection, Sarah felt Zaxxer's people reaching out, their collective consciousness brushing against their bond with curiosity and cautious hope. They want to understand, he explained, though Sarah could feel the meaning through their link. What we've achieved, it changes everything. The possibility of willing partnership rather than forced adaptation. A new way forward, Sarah finished, her cybernetic systems already engaging with the complex network of consciousness surrounding them. For both our species. The lead ship established contact, its communication carrying layers of meaning that Sarah's enhanced systems could now interpret. Through their bond, she felt Zaxxer's joy at reconnecting with his people mixed with fierce protectiveness of their unique connection. They're offering a sanctuary, he translated unnecessarily, as Sarah could feel the invitation through their link. And they want to learn from us. Not just about our bond, but about the possibility of willing technological and biological fusion. Sarah's military training urged caution, but her evolved systems recognized the truth in their intentions. More importantly, her heart, both organic and enhanced, knew this was right. What about the corporations, she asked, though her tactical systems were already calculating the advantages of having allies with such advanced capabilities. Zaxxer's skin rippled with what she now recognized as determined amusement. They wanted to unlock the secrets of my people's abilities through force. Instead, they drove us to discover something far more powerful: willing partnership, mutual evolution, and love? Sarah suggested, feeling his emotion pulse through their connection. A force even quantum physics can't explain, he agreed, his patterns shifting to the intimate frequencies only she could fully appreciate. The Starweaver moved to join the assembled fleet, its hull glowing with patterns that represented their unique bond. Through their merged consciousness, Sarah felt possibilities unfolding. Her cybernetic systems, once designed for combat and control, had evolved to enable connection and growth. Zaxxer's natural abilities had adapted to incorporate technological precision while maintaining their organic beauty. Together, they represented something unprecedented, the first of what could be many willing partnerships between their species. Not through corporate force or military might, but through understanding, adaptation, and a connection that transcended both biology and technology. As the fleet prepared to jump to the hidden sanctuary of Zaxxer's people, Sarah felt her enhanced systems synchronizing with the collective consciousness around them. She was no longer just a military operative with cybernetic upgrades, and Zaxxer was more than a refugee with remarkable biological abilities. They had become living proof that evolution didn't have to mean conquest, that the greatest advancements came not from control, but from connection. Their bond, once an accident of compatible frequencies, had grown into something that could reshape the relationship between humans and aliens. The stars blurred around them as the fleet made its quantum leap, carrying them toward a future neither of their species had imagined possible. Through their connection, Sarah felt Zaxxer's joy, his love, and his certainty that they had discovered something far more valuable than any corporate prize. They had found a way to evolve together, proving that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't technology or biology, but the willingness to connect, to grow, and to love across the boundaries of species and space. As the Starweaver followed its new allies into quantum space, its hull pulsing with patterns that matched both their frequencies, Sarah realized they had written a new chapter in human-alien relations. One where differences became strengths, where technology and biology danced in harmony, and where love proved to be the most advanced technology of all. The corporations had sought weapons and control. Instead, they had inadvertently sparked an evolution of connection that would change both species forever. And it had all started with a chance meeting between a cybernetically enhanced human and a bioluminescent alien, proving that sometimes the most powerful revolutions begin not with a fight, but with a simple touch and the willingness to connect.